Samus, what the hell? Mr. Chozo freaked out at the teen. Samus had powers, but not mind control, so she couldn't figure the deal. Unfortunately, the deal was clear because Samus had a D in history, and Chozo was a major. Samus, this is unacceptable under this house. You must succeed, or there will be capital punishment. Samus de facto mom venged. Samus wanted to be a teen and dissent and eye roll because she was afraid of her legal guardian and didn't want to make moves that would make things mad, or she wouldn't be able to go to the mall with Helen and Mandy anymore. And what about even boys? Okay, I'll think of something. Samus casualed as she ran into the classes, leaving Chozo Mom in a dust bowl. Minorites. Mr. Chozo backslashed. In school hadn't begun, but Samus was taking time to convey the message to her friends, and it was almost an apocalypse. My history D is going to destroy my life, Samus exclaimed to everyone in the entire city who heard. Even construction workers dropped. Okay, dude, it's not the end of the world yet. There's still could be time. Situation controlled Amy, who tried her best from turning into a disaster, but everyone knew a problem. It was only 2 weeks until grades were in, and what was there to do? Questions were stopped because blank, 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 blank. Hello, and slip, drippin', cop, flop, choppin', slip, ditch, fizzo, sliz. Principal Yokoi embarrassed. He tried to be a teen, but everyone only groaned and laughed at his lack of legit, and he was embarrassed, but the news continued. Today, the majority legitimator decided that if anyone in the state becomes class president, that they have an automated A in history from experience and leadership. The principal announced to populists. Not everyone cared about political crap, but Samus liked the clause note. Liked the A clause. Note, clauses are in a constitution or law or something, and it says that things happen like freedom or A's and things. In other news, class president Candon was impeached yesterday because of stealing school money and using it to fund hedges in the parking lot, and buy pork barrels from the hockey team. No, for the hockey team. So there's going to be a total recall on next Tuesday. The class knew that Candon was hungry for power and food, but wow, who could have guessed his Nixonics, and who would be drafted? Samus was on her way out of school from another day of MHS when she heard a sketch voice echo down the corridor. Psst. Hello? Samus wandered off spirits because it wasn't Spirit, it was only Tracy. Samus, the game dude, was black hacking into Power School, and he noticed the problem with your history and the D. Tracy initiated. Normally, Samus would have freaked from a breach of the Second Amendment, but she knew that Tracy was a man. Oh, Trace, not Tracy, was a man of fine points. What are you getting to? Samus cut the chase. Hasty girl. Trace smiled with a grin. The thing is, the game dude and I formed an exploratory commission, and we've decided that you would be a possible candidate to lead the school in a total recall, and if you win, then Tracy left the rest to Samus's imagination. Samus never thought about policy and government duty before, but this was an intrigue because she remembered the new A clause from the news morning and knew that if she didn't get an A somehow, that she'd have to take up a fifth or suffer the consequences. I'll think about it. Samus non-committed, but secretly knew the realities. It was going to be an election, but would there be an insurrection? The next school day started. Samus had already cleansed her mind, and her decision was clear. But first she had to choose to go to a party. She knew from school news that Republicans liked to kill trees, but she liked trees, so she became a Democratic. Okay, welcome to the Democrat Caucus, invited Amy to everyone because she was the leader woman of the Democrats and school committee. She could run meetings and primaries and was also a speaker in school senate because no one cares about school council whatsoever. Okay, grammar correction, it's whatsoever. Today is when we choose who will run for president. So if there are nominations, snows, now's the time to commit, advocated Amy. There were heads that rolled, but in the end, people made decisions. I nominate T.O.1. Helen endorsed her favorite boyfriend. Some people laughed at his name, but they were kicked out of the party because of anti-immigration. Okay, are there other nominees? Amy wondered aloud to the community. I nominate Samus. Adam Malkovich. No, there's no ED at the end. Adam Malkovich. This person doesn't know their Metroid very well. He and Samus were going out, so this was a shoo-in. And this is before Samus and Ridley meet, so don't freak out. He's not forgotten, okay? I already read that. Okay, that's close. That closes the nominations, so it's time to rock the votes. Amy used MTV language. So how caucuses work is the candidates stand in there in corners, and then people walk over, and whoever has more people wins and is nominated. Amy explained to multitudes. When she gave the signal, people walked over to the corners for Samus or T.O.1. It was really close at the beginning, but near the end, people went to Samus because not everyone was too keen on having a Mexico president, and plus Samus was kind of hot. It's Mexican, and the person who wrote this story is kind of racist, from what I've read so far. Thank you, voters, and congratulations to Samus Aran, who will now be voted at the Total Recall. Everyone pledged delegates to the football queen, even to T.O.1, because he was still friends and a Democrat. Samus had won the Democrats, but what about the election? For the rest of the day, Samus was congratulated by people in school, except not everyone, because Republicans were not quite as keen on Iranian policies. Ha! Because her name's Samus Aran. Before the day was over, Trace and Amy wanted to have a word with the candidates. Good job on the nominations, but here's the deal, Amy began with the sentence. The election's going to be a tough one, but you're going to have some help. Trace and I will be your campaign managers because I can help out with the Democrat votes, and Trace can use underground connections to help with election totals. Amy finished up as Trace nodded a slyful grin. Okay, this is good, but who am I up against? Samus pondered as she awaited results from her staffers. At lunch, the Republicans had their primary, and Captain Falcon was chosen as the victor. Trace slyly foxed. Helen and Samus were not pleased at the news and reflected it with their demeanors. Captain Falcon was very popular because the captain of the track team held every record, even some of that were made up just for him. Some people said that he cheated by using a race car instead of running, but his parents had shitloads of money, so they paid judges, and everyone was okay. It's time for strategy, Amy began to plan. Okay, so Captain Falcon was probably try to use money to win, but if we speak with truth and say what's right, people will vote. Amy optimized. Trace wasn't so positive because of experience in shady smoker room deals. But he knew that Samus had a shot, except there were Republicans everywhere, and it'd be a tough one. Elections had been close, but in the end, someone always won. But would it be Samus? Over the week before the election, there were many deal seals and campaigns. Captain Falcon used the money like everyone thought, and bought ads that smeared across the intercom. One even said that Samus, did you know what with a lobbyist? For everyone unclear, lobbyists wait around in the lobby of Congress and buy drinks and tickets for senators, so they vote for high gas prices and less trees. That is wrong. That's not what lobbyists do. The person who wrote this is ignorant and stupid on many levels. Luckily, Samus was a Democrat, so people knew she wasn't into that shit. It was a bumpy row. It doesn't have a D at the end. It's supposed to be a road, but the D is in front of the butt, so it was a bumpy road, but it was time for the debate. Okay, welcome to the 72 Memorial Debate. Principal Yokai kicked off the dramatics. Everyone knows the candidates, and now it's time to hear about the issues. First question is to Mr. Falcon, journalized Silex, president of the class newspaper. What are your feelings about global warming? Captain Falcon cooled with a simmering snap. My real question is, what about you feeling about global warming? Falcon sleaze-stepped the issue. All of the Republicans cheered because they were too stupid to understand that Falcon? It says Falcon with a C instead of an S, but I know it's Falcon. Had not answered any questions and was only sucking his guts. Thank you, Mr. Falcon. Dr. Samus. Dr. Samus? She's not a doctor. How do you feel about the World War III? Silex discretionized. All eyes were on Samus as she formulated her position, but she remained cucumber cool and answered, war is not the option, but if it's necessary, then it must happen for people. Many people clapped except for the Falcon Republicans, who were too stupid to know about wars. Okay, not all Republicans are stupid, but the person who wrote this story is, as I said, not the brightest of people. Thank you, everyone. That concludes the debate. No, it doesn't. A debate's... A debate's longer than that, and it's time to choose the candidates. But remember, not to choose particular people. Oh, not particular people. Remember not to choose popular people, and only those who your heart is after. Yokoi Disney channeled out, but everyone knew that people would vote for the populists. But who was the most? The votes were just about to be tallied, and Samus was taking a walk through the halls when she heard a strange rumbling, bumbling it says noise, but I think it means noise. rumbling, bumbling noise from the boiler room. What could it be? She investigated as she opened the door and was shocked to find a political machine. Ha, you caught us trying to rig the votes with a copying machine. Snaked up Captain Falcon and ex facto Candon. I'm still not sure what facto is, but whatever. Who were joined with other Republicans. They looked serious, but Samus was too. It's spelled Thias. I think it's supposed to be this is, but they spelled it wrong, so meh. This is unacceptable, Samus furied as she began to use jutsu signs and stances, but Candon summoned bodyguards. I lost my position. Oh, there was I. Who was it? Kraid and his gang. Luckily, Samus was used to fighting these losers, and she took them all out with her techniques and attacked. Soon they were piled on the floors. You may have defeated idiots, but what about me? Captain Falcon punched Samus, but she dodged, and his dumbass... I'm sorry, where was I? I lost my position. Where was I? Oh, there it is. You may have idiots... Oh, that's Captain Falcon talking, but... Okay. You may have defeated idiots, but what about me? Captain Falcon punched Samus, but she dodged, and dumbass Falcon fell out of the window. He punched so hard. Candon ran away, but he didn't want to get caught. But I think it's supposed to be by Hall Monitor Noxus. Oh, it is Spot. Okay. Didn't want to get caught, but Hall Monitor Noxus jailed him for conspiracies against the populace. And what about Samus? Congratulations, President Aaron. President Yukai inaugurated Samus to the presidency, and there were many cheers among the crowd, even a few rhinos who were sort of like Democrats. Everything was going well, but right as Samus signed the articles and was about to enact the A clause, a voice could be heard over the announcer. Hello to the people of school, it is I, Emperor Falcon. I've taken over the office, and I am now the president of the school. Principal Yokai was befuzzled, and he was a bozo cop and didn't even know what to do. The school is under siege. My first order of business is that Samus Aran, who thinks she is president of class, is arrested for treason against Falcon government. The captain hardlined as you could hear Kraid and gang members in the background, smacking and snickering at the situation. When she is arrested, she is to be killed and displayed for public appeal. Samus's eyes narrowed. She may have won the election, but would she win the insurrection? The Metroid High School election was over. The Metroid Civil War had just begun. Okay. I want to say a few things about this story before I am done. First, to the person who read this is... No, not the person who read this. The person who wrote this didn't get their facts checked, and they took too much from other areas to be a fan fiction. I mean, if it was a Brawl fan fiction, I can understand. I mean, there's Captain Falcon, but Captain Falcon has nothing to do with Metroid. Okay? And Democrats and Republicans are human creations, human entities. Why would... And Chozos were wiped out. Anyway, how would they have been able to interbreed with humans? This whole story is full of just... the moment I first read this when Rodney sent it to me, I wanted to kill him for having this be the thing I volunteered for. Yeah. And I personally think that the person who wrote this was a freaking 6-year-old. There's nothing educated about anything these people are saying. It's like all these people have the IQs of babies that can talk. It's just weird. It's not even worth my time. But because Rodney gave it to me and he expects me to do it, I gave it the time. So, if you actually stayed long enough to finish it, you're either a really good fan of mine, or Rodney's, or Metroid. But if you were a big fan of Metroid, why did you stay? Please, tell me, why did you stay? Okay, this has been the Mega Kid 5, reading Chapter 7 of Metroid High School. The terrible fanfiction that isn't even a fanfiction. See you guys in another thing.